Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform Facebook Live from 3Team Best Trade Academy. My name is Dele Ayemibo, and we're continuing our discussion on starting and managing export business this morning, and we're looking at part 72. We started discussing market entry barriers yesterday, the barrier to export market entry. And I talked about this morning that we're going to be discussing how to overcome some of those barriers that hinder entrance into a new market. Remember, just the way you are trying to get into that market, someone else is making effort to get into that market. That means there must be a strategic intent in whatever it is that you are doing. You cannot leave everything to chance. And that's why we're discussing this morning this export market entry strategy. It's very important and critical to understand the fact that the world stage is a competitive space in which the strong tends to overpower the weak, and those that operate by default are overtaken by those that have the right strategy that they have put in place to be able to operate in such an environment. Yesterday, I listed a couple of barriers. I will go over them again, then we'll move on to how to overcome those barriers. We categorize them into three: internal controllable dimension of barrier, foreign non-controllable dimension of barrier, and local non-controllable dimension of barrier. The internal controllable barrier include communication with foreign unit, that's communication within an organization, lack of export training skills, lack of market information, controlling of international activities, and documentation requirement. Others include arranging transportation, packaging, and shipment, providing services, mitigating the risk, the export market risk. The foreign non-controllable dimension of barriers include foreign government attitude, foreign public attitude, trade barriers like tariff, license, and quota. Then for the local controllable dimension, non-controllable dimension, we have financing issues and support of the home government. Financing issues and support of the home government. So how then do we overcome these challenges? There are many things that a small business can do to overcome any barrier, in addition to applying sound business practices. That means there is need for application of sound business practices. Beside the application of sound business practices, then you can also adopt the right strategy. There is need for application of sound business practices. Beside the application of sound business practices, then also for export, you are putting in place the right strategy. Number one, looking to existing customers. Many companies can penetrate foreign market by selling their product to domestic customer unit overseas. If there are companies you are already supplying locally, sometimes in entering into export market, you might just find out that these same people you are dealing with domestic market have branches in the country you are going into. And then you can work with their branches in those countries. And it becomes easier to start because the people you are dealing with locally can easily introduce you. So you can deal with them and work with them locally. Number two, make a commitment. Exporting is not a part-time effort. It requires extensive research. Foreign businesses should be run by seasoned managers. Meaning the organization must make a commitment by hiring skilled, competent people to do the job. Remember yesterday we talked about management will. Sometimes a manager have a mandate of the management to grow the sales. And he decided to go into export. Even though the management wants him to grow the sales, sometimes the management is really not interested in export. So their commitment becomes low. Seek advice. Seek advice from consultants. Seek advice from professionals who are in the field to help. Seek advice. Seeking advice is so critical and so important for you in order to be able to grow this business. Seek advice. Meet with people who can give you advice on the options. Look for people that can help you do export market research. Seek advice. Use trade shows. Trade shows. Trade promotional promotion sponsored by government agencies abroad draw big crowd. So use trade shows. Consider trade shows as a strategy that you want to deploy and employ for this program. As you think of entering into the export market, one of the ways of overcoming the export market barrier is to look for trade shows to attend. Look at what trade show does for you. I'm selling, for example, cream, shea butter, or shea butter cream. And I'm attending a trade show in which different buyers, distributors, wholesalers of shea butter or cream in the world, maybe it's a cosmetic show, are converging. You know, trade show makes it a lot easier for you to just grow your sales, because if you have a good product, you might not be able to meet, you might be overwhelmed with the kind of requests you are going to get in an environment where all the potential buyer of your product are converging. In an environment where all the potential buyers of your product are converging, you cannot overemphasize how vital such an opportunity will be. So you don't want to lose that opportunity. You want to do everything to take advantage of such opportunity, because there all your potential buyers are therein present. All your potential buyers are therein present. Another way to overcome the export market barrier is picking your market carefully. While potentially lucrative, fast-growing market can tank unexpectedly, consider customer quality, not just the nationality. If you notice an increase in the sales of products in a particular country, check the fundamental. What is driving it? For example, if you are doing cosmetics, what is driving it? Is it that some people are buying in that country and taking it to another country? Or there is a huge population demanding for that product in that country because of the population? If people are taking it out, in as much as that is good, but that might not be a long-lasting market, because any regulation can easily stop that business because they are taking it out. For example, in Nigeria, an imported item is not allowed for export. So if you are shipping goods into Nigeria and you are making a lot of sales, but you discover that that kind of product, a lot of them are moved across border. In as much as Nigerian population is a good market for you, just rest assured that the additional volume you are doing because people are moving it out is not sustainable. Why? That is against the government regulation. The regulation in Nigeria is that imported items are not allowed for export. The regulation in Nigeria is that imported items are not allowed for export. Now, if that is the regulation in Nigeria, the implication of that for you is that that market you are picking up, the volume you are currently seeing is threatened. So have other reason for picking it, and be careful how much you are investing, because that market might soon tank. Manage growth. Manage growth. It takes time to line up financing and expand an organization to handle export. Many exporters are overwhelmed by big orders. If you follow closely when we're discussing the full corporate offer. There is a section there where we talk about minimum and maximum order. There's a section there we discuss minimum and maximum order. What exactly does this mean? Minimum and maximum order is basically saying, that what is the minimum required for you to make profit and what is the maximum required. What is the maximum required for you to ship such that you will not disappoint the buyer at the time of shipment? What's the maximum you can do? What's the maximum you can do? What's the maximum that you can do? This is very important, very, very important, because some people have promised and they've not been able to meet up with their promises. Why? They thought they would be able to do much more, but alas, they are unable to do much more because they underestimate the volume that they've been asked. Try to estimate what's the maximum you can do at any point in time, and let that be part of your full corporate offer. So whoever you are dealing with, have an idea of your maximum capacity per time. Have an idea of your maximum capacity per time. Manage growth. Don't go and get a loan because you have a large order. Grow organically. Do not disappoint your buyer. I will stress this again. When you are exporting, you are not the one exporting in the real sense. As a matter of fact, the buyer is not looking at you. The buyer is looking at your country. So if you are in Nigeria, the buyer is looking at Nigeria. If you are in Botswana, the buyer is looking at Botswana. The buyer is looking at Botswana and is looking at you, your country, beyond you. When he's looking at you, he's looking at your country. He's looking beyond you. So when you disappoint, he will say, Nigeria have disappointed, Ghana have disappointed, Botswana has disappointed, China has disappointed, whichever country has disappointed. And then you create a wrong impression about your business in that country. You create a wrong impression about your business in that particular country. Another one is use of letter of credit or trade finance instrument. Use of letter of credit or trade finance instrument. When you are dealing with a buyer for the first time, there is a risk. If the buyer is not allowing you to use the right payment method, that means there is a risk. If the buyer is not allowing you to use the payment method that protects you, that means there is a risk. And what is the risk? The risk of not getting paid. The risk of not getting paid. Some first-timer exporters ship to a product and hope they will get paid. And sometimes they never get paid. Letter of credit protects you against default. A shady buyer or a buyer with weak financial strength might disappoint you, might delay payment, and altogether default on payment. One of the ways you can prevent that from happening to you is by doing what? Using a trade finance instrument like letter of credit. A trade finance instrument like payment guarantee. A trade finance instrument like standby letter of credit. Standby letter of credit. Standby letter of credit. Be patient. Is it not interesting to know that one of the barrier to market entries, one of the ways you can overcome barrier to market entry is just simply being patient. Just simply being patient. Just simply being patient. If you are grossly impatient, you will not help yourself. If you are grossly impatient, you will not help yourself. In fact, you might find yourself in the hand of people that will deceive and dupe you. You might find yourself in the hand of people that will deceive and dupe you. Don't be in a hurry. Be patient. Be patient to critically analyze the intending buyer. Be patient to put in place the necessary risk mitigant. Be patient to do what is extremely important and necessary for you to be able to overcome all the challenges you will likely face. Be patient to learn. For example, at 3T Impest Trade Academy, we have Executive Diploma in Export Business Management. And this is a 6-month program that we recommend anyone that is serious about export to be able to effectively handle their export transaction. Anyone that is serious about export, what they need to do. And this diploma has been put together for 6-month training to be able to help prepare you adequately. Be patient. The interesting thing about international trade is that you are trading across borders and probably dealing with someone you do not know. So, beyond the local trade that is within your country, you can take a bus, a train, a trip there. Not like another country that you can't just take a bus, a train, a flight. You will need a visa, a passport to go to that country. That is giving a higher level of risk when you compare international trade to local trade. And those are the differences between international trade and local trade, which is the reason why it's extremely important that you patiently prepare, that you patiently plan, that you patiently put in place all the risk mitigants to be able to protect your transaction. Then choose your partner carefully. Now, you have key partners. If you are familiar with business model canvas, you will understand in a business there are people called key partners. In a typical export transaction, your key partners are your supplier, either of the raw material or the finished product, your suppliers. Your key partners include the freight forwarder. Your key partners include the haulage firm. Your key partners include the carrier. Your key partners include the bank funding your transaction. Your key partners include the buyer at the other side. These are key partners in this transaction. Important and critical partners in this transaction. Number one, the freight forwarder. The freight forwarder at home is crucial in handling your paperwork. The freight forwarder at home is crucial in handling your paperwork. If that paperwork is not handled very well, that might lead to delay. That might lead to discrepancies. That might lead to damages. That might lead to debt. If the paperwork is not handled very well, that might lead to discrepancies on your document. If the paperwork is not handled very well, the discrepancy on document can lead to delays. If that is not handled very well, this paperwork issue that is causing discrepancy and delay can lead to demurrage. By the way, demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container while beyond the free period, while the container is in your custody as an exporter, it's in the custody of the shipping line rather. For you as an exporter or importer, you can incur import demurrage or export demurrage. Export demurrage happens when an exporter's container is with the shipping line and the shipping line could not ship simply because the documentation is having issues. And the shipping line will be charging the exporter demurrage. Demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container beyond the free period while the container is in the custody of the shipping line. So you need a freight forwarder who will ensure that the discrepancy is avoided. Because when you avoid discrepancy, you can avoid delays. When you avoid delays, you can avoid demurrage. When you avoid demurrage, you can avoid debt or losses that could have been incurred on that transaction. debt or losses that could have been incurred on that transaction. That is so critical, that is so important. Choose your partners carefully. Apart from the freight forwarder, you have the haulage firms. Haulage firms. Haulage firm at home, haulage firm abroad. Haulage firm at home, haulage firm abroad. Haulage firm at home and haulage firm abroad. If you are involved in the distribution of your product at destination, you will need haulage firm abroad. If you are involved in the distribution of your product at the destination, you will engage haulage firm abroad. Haulage firm at home, haulage firm abroad. Haulage firm in Nigeria can mess you up big time. My worst experience of haulage firm is a truck that traveled less than 1,000 kilometers. Less than 1,000 kilometers, and this truck spent 21 calendar days. For those that know Nigeria very well, between Jos and Nigeria, 21 calendar days. It's amazing. 21 calendar days between Jos and Nigeria. Sorry, and Lagos rather. Haulage firm can mess you up big time. But remember, we are looking at barriers to foreign export market entry. I've decided to dwell on the local because that's very important, but let's go back to the destination now. You know, in entering the export market, sometimes you might need a rep at destination, a company to distribute at destination, a company to clear the goods at destination to be able to ensure the good is delivered on time. To ensure that the good is delivered on time. These are your partners. If you need to have a sales representative at destination, because of our strong recommendation that when you are doing export, especially direct export, you need a rep to work with at destination. You need a rep to work with at destination. It's either you work with a rep at destination or you partner to form a joint venture in order to have a subsidiary or sister company at destination, or altogether go into that country and have your own SPV business set up as a sole ownership branch at destination. These three options are available to you as an intending exporter. Even though the sales representative recommended for starter, the sister company sales subsidiary is recommended for growing, and for the established, we strongly recommend sole ownership branch at destination. Sole ownership branch at destination. So in the case of the sales representative and in the case of the subsidiary sister company, you will need to choose your partners carefully. You will need to choose your partners carefully. You will need to choose your partners carefully. And this is so important. So partners become extremely important. In fact, being able to have the right partner destination is a major strategy to overcome the barriers in the export market. It helps you to overcome the challenge of getting paid, the challenge, the risk of not getting paid, the issue of quality, the issue of pilfering, whatever issue you likely have at destination. The presence of your representative, foreign sales representative, or foreign sales subsidiary will be very good. I'll be rounding off now. Remember, we are still discussing starting and managing export business. And this is on the Import-Export platform, Facebook Live from 3T Impest Trade Academy. Today we have looked at part 72, and in the evening we'll be looking at part 73. In the evening, we are going to be looking at assessing the foreign market. Assessing the foreign market. Foreign export market assessment. The question you need to ask to be able to gather the right information for yourself in the export market. That's what we're discussing in the evening. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Dele Ayemibo. This video go on our YouTube channel, 3T Impest TV. Remember, 3T Impest means 3T for trade, Impex, IMPEX, export. So this video go on our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't just subscribe. Click on the notification button. With the notification button, you will get to know when we post a new video. Don't just click on that button. Drop your comment. Like the video. And more importantly, share with your friends, with your colleagues, with every other person that you think will be interested in what we are discussing regarding export business, starting and managing export business. Thank you very much. See you in the evening and have a great day at work. Bye for now.